needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
A very good morning to you and welcome to another edition of SOUQ Business Landscape, your trusted weekly compass into Nigeria's economic pulse, business breakthroughs, investment signals, and developmental trends. Today, we unpack the key forces shaping enterprise, policy, and markets, from agricultural revival strategies and research-driven innovation to billion-naira telecom investments, global economic ripples, and the deepening U.S.-Nigeria ties. We will explore how these headlines translate into real-world impact for Nigerian businesses and everyday citizens. I'm Oyinpriye Krumale. Good morning to you once again, and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape. Good morning to you, Chooks. John Rogers Chooks.
Good morning. Good morning, Priye, and everyone out there, good morning and welcome to rainy Lagos. It's still raining down here. My name is Chooks. John Rogers Chooks. So remember, be safe wherever you are. Cover up.
Yeah, I know our viewers will be imagining they saw only two gentlemen. They used to see four, and at the time they saw three, and now they're seeing two. And there must be lots of questions running through your mind. Why are they two? It could be the weather. It's actually not. It could be business related, because that's our forte here. We will unpack that as soon as we get feedback. Now, we take a look first at the federal government announces a nationwide revival of the oil palm and cocoa production to stimulate macro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, with plans to plant 100 million oil palm trees and expand access to funding. And then we'll move to education, where over 4.2 billion naira have been approved for 158 research projects and 15 billion naira allocated to building innovation hubs and entrepreneurs, creating the centers in 15 institutions supporting AI, robotics, and housing solutions. We will then put giant telecommunications companies into the spotlight, where it is reported that the two major players have invested nearly 825 billion naira in network expansion, including 4G infrastructure and data center development. And just of a sudden, you will be wondering, why are your calls still dropping? We'll get to find out more of that in the course of the conversation. Now, though consumer satisfaction remains low due to persistent service issues and then to bilateral trade, we will move to international relations, where Nigeria and the United States are said to recommit to stronger economic ties, highlighting opportunities in innovation, fiscal reform, and investment-friendly policies. And finally, we go to the UK's service industry, which is currently experiencing weakening output, with new orders dropping and unemployment rising, prompting expectations of an interest rate cut to stimulate growth. These are a brief of all the stories we will be looking at today on SOUQ Business Landscape. But before we hit the throttle, let's go on a break. We'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Take Nigeria, because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content, and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Cocoa remains a significant cash crop in Nigeria, predominantly produced by small-scale farmers in the country's southwest region. Historically, cocoa served as a major source of foreign earnings until the 1970s, when the discovery of petroleum shifted the focus away from agriculture. Despite various challenges from its introduction in 1807 to the present, efforts by successive governments and the resilience of cocoa farmers have sustained its production. To better optimize productivity and ensure fair prices for farmers and high economic returns for the government, the Cocoa Marketing Board, CMB, was established in 1947. However, the goal was not totally achieved as pricing policy weren't favorable, discouraging farmers from producing export crops, and that eventually led to the board's abolition in 1986. These resulted in reduced yields and lower quality cocoa beans. Meanwhile, the millennium era witnessed a shift in farmers' focus towards more economically viable crops like oil palm due to the high cost and intensive care required for cocoa production. Cocoa production faces several obstacles, including limited access to fertilizers, unfavorable climate conditions, pest infestation, poor infrastructure, and land shortages. Also, herders' attacks on farmers have deterred farmers from expanding their farmlands. According to research, despite challenges, cocoa production has empowered many farmers and more stakeholders in the value chain, improving their living standards, enabling them to provide education for their children, cover medical expenses, and build better homes. Concerning the future of cocoa farming in Nigeria, there are mixed opinions among farmers. Some are hopeful that government reinvestment and addressing current challenges can revive the sector's past success. Others are pessimistic due to the persistent issues and the trend of farmers shifting to other crops. Regardless, hope remains for the sector. Solutions like improving land-labor relations, infrastructure, and financial support could revitalize cocoa production, reduce out migration, stabilize prices, and enhance value chain development, ultimately securing a brighter future for Nigerian cocoa farming and its stakeholders. Ojai Michael, reporting for SOUQ News.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
It said it's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
On the 19th of August 2025, Paris will come alive with the prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards taking place at the Gauche Hotel, Paris. The prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards is designed to celebrate governors who have contributed immensely to their states in different countries across the world. If you are a governor who's gone above and beyond to deliver transformative projects in your state and country, then this award is for you. To partake of the Governor's Excellence Awards this year taking place in Paris, all you have to do is send an email to soupnexus.com with the words, "I accept," and we will get right back to you. You can also send a WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp number scrolling on your screen right now. You don't want to miss Paris for anything, and we are looking forward to celebrating you and your achievements this year. So contact SOUQ Nexus to make that happen.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
It said it's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
A very good morning to you once again and welcome. Many thanks for joining us on the program. And now we begin with our first story. Agriculture, the federal government plans palm cocoa revival for small and medium-sized enterprises. The federal government has announced plans to revive Nigeria's cocoa and oil palm sectors as part of a broader strategy to empower micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Vice President Kashim Shettima revealed the plan during the 7th edition of the National MSME Clinic in Ondo State, stating that President Tinubu has ordered the planting of 100 million oil palm trees nationwide. He emphasized that the MSMEs are vital to job creation, poverty reduction, and economic prosperity, accounting for 90% of jobs in Nigeria. Shettima disclosed that 65 MSMEs from Ondo State have accessed 75 billion naira federal government intervention fund and encouraged others to leverage the platform. Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa and Ekiti State Governor Abiodun Oyebanji praised the federal government's efforts, urging support for local products to strengthen the economy. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ogunsi II, also called for deeper collaboration between the government and the private sector to enhance productivity and national growth. Great. Now, for those of you who watched the program yesterday, and you've been following the program, you will understand that we spoke extensively about oil palm yesterday. We intend to continue today and do justice not only to it, but also to diversify to the cocoa industry, or the cocoa sector rather. And myself and John Rogers, we will be doing that, including you. Now, do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and send in your comments, most especially on your takes concerning our topics of conversation. Chooks, the Vice President, the Governor of Ekiti State, Abiodun Oyebanji, and the man who is always lucky, Ayedatiwa of Ondo State, were there. And one of the beautiful things I heard was that 65 MSMEs have taken advantage of the 65 billion naira funding that the federal government is giving to MSMEs in order to promote their expansion because of their strategic placement and location in the society, knowing that MSMEs, we have a lot of them that constitute or that work in the informal sector, and how they employ 2-3 people, and when the numbers come and the numbers can employ those 2-3 people, it seems to take away people from the unemployment market. So, is this a good report, or what is your perspective in this issue?
Which the MSMEs are accessing the money, or MSMEs in this agri sector side of it?
Both.
Both, okay. Just like you said, we spoke on oil palm yesterday, and we were arguing, going back and forth. It's a problem that is with us. If we say we need to grow the economy, then everybody needs their hands on deck. We need to really walk our talk. Now we see the MSME clinic that happened in Ondo State, and we see the Vice President. My good happiness with him is that each time he's around, he always has one intervention or the other to let people know that this is available, access this, and get working.
You mean the Vice President?
Yes, Kashim Shettima. Now, for everyone out there, there is an initiative from the President to plant 100 million palm trees. If we don't own this, it will not work. Now, I also looked at that part where he said nationwide. Palm trees don't grow nationwide in Nigeria. Let's be specific. And let states and local governments pick this particular project and drive it. The federal government will come up with very good, laudable initiatives, but for us to really see them work, they won't be in Abuja and see the success of this. It's the people at the grassroots, the local government, and the states that have to make sure this works. Why? Because in the long run, it's we that will benefit. If, for this particular initiative, I can't bet that, yes, planning has gone into it. funding has been available. And if we don't access that particular fund and get this working, that fund will be diverted for something else or will be mishandled. That's what happens in government. Now, for the palm and cocoa industry, we need to see production as in production. If we are able to achieve 50% of this, it will give us at least extra 50% of production within both industries. We are not just looking at planting, we're not just looking at harvest, we're not just looking at primary product, we're looking at being able to also go beyond primary product and start some form of secondary value addition. That will help us very well. We have a deficit, we are still importing palm oil into Nigeria. Shame on us. So for every single gallon of palm oil we import to Nigeria, that is a deficit for us. So imagine what we are losing, not being able to cater for our own consumption in the first place. Then we now have to import from Malaysia or import from Indonesia. Import from India. Is that bad? Import from China, that's sad. So now these are areas we really need to individually invest in. We should go beyond just the president saying plant 100 million trees. We should take it personal, whereby we can start encouraging children in primary, in nursery, in secondary schools that, hey, own a tree. Just the way we had this tree planting exercise years ago that is currently dwindling, thanks to Rotary that keep that particular project up. We can have this particular project whereby at the end of every month, as a child is leaving school, for those within areas where we can plant trees, the school, the government, the local government make these seedlings available. The child is going home at the end of every month, and the child is going back to go to his house, his father's compound or wherever, and plant a palm tree, knowing fully that this palm tree belongs to me. There is that ownership, and the child will always want to go and see that tree grow.
And the sense that this is an investment.
Yes, for tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
And imagine if through the 3 months of every term, the child has 3 trees growing in his father's backyard, or in his compound somewhere, or in a farm somewhere. Imagine what happens at the end of the year. So everyone is involved. You're not just looking at a big farmer or someone that's coming to invest. You're already getting children into this particular project, and they grow with this sense of belonging and ownership. Okay. So if they spend 2, 3, 6 years in primary school, in secondary school, we will definitely achieve this.
Okay, so Chooks, first of all, 3 million metric tons. 3 million acres of land, rather.
You needed to plant.
That's what we needed to plant the palm oil trees.
To meet our local consumption.
Just local needs alone. And I know yesterday we were extensively discussing about 2 major players who have spent decades in that sector, and they've seemed to become the pillars of that sector. One of them, or if not,
they are not the pillars. They're just those making the money, the big money.
If not the 2 of them quoted in the market. But first of all, the initiative you're talking about is laudable. However, for 10-year-olds, because when government brings out a policy, there must be an initiative on ground to drive that policy. And behind the initiative, there must be an incentive to draw the people in to be able to, participate in that initiative. An example of that is the disposal of these empty cans for soft drinks, and how it has now become a money-making venture.
For a few.
For a few, though. But you see young people going around the streets, while some people do not imbibe any initiative of, after drinking these things, just throwing them away on the road, or just probably throwing them away in the gutters. And probably now that we are going through the rainy season, the waters, we need to flood them back to the main road. You see some young people go around, just going around to pick these empty cans. And when they're done picking it, they take it to wherever the exchange them for money. So, but I've seen other people as well who have taken the initiative to build trash can in front of their houses, and they're telling you what to drop in it, or sometimes they don't even tell you, but you could see, you just pass it, you see a trash can, and all that is available you could see in that trash can or in that bin is the empty cans of the soft drinks or bottled water, and they empty it there. And if the people who live in that street, they only know that it's only in front of Mr. Chuks' house, we can empty these. Because some people don't even like trashing those items in their own personal trash, because they feel it's quite inconveniencing and quite very, very difficult to dispose. And they keep dropping it there. There are people they trade with who comes around, pick it, weigh it, how many kilograms, and they calculate the money and give. If they're going to do that, yes, they can bring it down to this palm tree. I believe the government is doing this because the government is aware of the shortage and the deficit that we have, and how we are unable to meet our local needs. And at the same time, we do not have 3 million lands at the moment to give out for that purpose. 3 million acres of land to give out for the specific purpose of planting palm trees to meet local needs alone, let alone exporting. So if we are going to do that, it's good to go to the houses or to the government-owned schools, or including private-owned schools, tell the 10-year-olds, the 11-year-olds, the 9-year-olds, take palm seedlings, plant in your house, and there's going to be an incentive for that.
What other incentive? They've given you the seedlings already. What other incentive do you want?
No, there needs to be an incentive.
What other incentive do you want?
There needs to be some sort of incentive,
like
that is going to be some form of, that will serve as an instant gratification.
When you start harvesting the palm,
just a moment,
okay.
You are dealing with children,
okay.
And we must, when we give them the seedlings, that is an incentive. Okay. However, it is not instant, because you said it alone. Between 2 and 5 years, that's what we do. Take that palm seedling to grow to become a palm tree. Okay. So these children do not have the patience to wait for that long period of time. So if for trees to grow, children,
they do.
Why do you buy them sweet? Because you are trying to give them instant gratification. So if you are giving them palm seedlings and they said for the next 3 years, that's the next 5 years, that's when this is going to start producing palm fruits for you and as an investment for you. So imagine a 10-year-old and you're giving 3 seedlings that can produce 3 trees. So when he is now 18, he has 3 palm trees at the backyard of his parents that are completely grown, that can be, harvested and be sold for money. Because I believe at that 15, 16, he's already getting into a tertiary institution. And those will come in handy as his own personal investment that has stayed over for 5, 6, 7 years. So if you're going to give them instant gratification, I don't want to say money, because but it could be an incentive that will serve an instant gratification also to those young children, so they can know, okay, I'm getting this instant gratification because I am taking part in an exercise that is not only going to be an investment that I'm laying down for myself as a child, but also an investment for my family, for my mom and my dad, that is going to pay off later in the future. But also as a child, at least there is something like a sweet, maybe not literally sweet, that will serve as instant gratification in order to allow them to take off. I think because we are dealing with children, if it were an adult, then we can say, fine, they don't need instant gratification. Give them the palm seedlings. Give them at work. Give to every civil servant at work. Go to the private sector. Give it to them. Give to you. Give to me. Give to Austin, Ayo, or anybody. Just go and plant behind your house, and before you know it, for 5 years you have a palm tree standing behind you. Probably you don't need to buy palm oil anymore, or you could sell and make for yourself. In that way, we are covering up for the deficit that we are experiencing as a nation. Then we can have the ones that are being produced by the major companies like Presco and
what's the name of the other company again, that are majorly into export, could also serve at both our domestic market and majorly for export. I think that's another good way to go about it. I don't think you should fight the incentive I'm talking about.
I'm not fighting. I just don't understand the incentive part of it. But it's okay. It's okay. Well, whatever makes the child happy and gets the job done.
Exactly.
Okay, but we really need ownership of this kind of project. These are where projects fail. If the people don't see it as something that is their own, something that is in the long term, this is ours. This kind of issues and projects fail. And as long as we don't also bring in political undertones with them, this is another issue. Then let's now look at the issues we've had with these plantations for a while.
Okay.
Thanks to development, thanks to estates and new town buildings and urban development, we are losing a lot of cocoa plantations, majorly in the West. Ondo let's take Ondo for example. If you go towards Futa, the Federal University of Technology, Akure, there used to be a whole lot of plantation beside Futa. Right now, there are a lot of estates that are springing up, and we are losing those plantations. A lot of the village farms that used to be where there were cocoa habitations, they've lost a whole lot of that. So now, with this initiative, needs to start also thinking, how do we replant this set of farms that have been lost? How do we get back these trees in numbers, in replanting? Where do we move from here? Because if we keep looking at development, the way we are developing, against land available for cocoa farming, we will be losing. Then we are also looking at issues where states should be held responsible. Now the federal government is saying there is this amount of money, 75 billion
naira,
and it's out there. How informed are the people within this particular sector in assessing these funds? It should not just be domiciled in one federal account based on one federal project. State and local government should at least be responsible enough to inform their people on this initiative, on this capital. If you qualify, if you have this idea, if you have this investment going, if you have this farm going, go and assess this fund and make sure you pay back, not marry a second wife.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Chooks. Now, let's take a broader look. You mentioned higher institutions. I remember vividly yesterday when I was talking about land mass that should be made available for some of the agricultural produce that we are currently experiencing some form of deficit at the moment, and how we need to make up for the shortfall. And I extensively made a reference to one of the universities in the country that, has in a specific area where it is domiciled, that's about 13% of the land mass of that place belongs to that university, and that university is also known for having a very, very thriving faculty of agriculture, and not just a faculty where people come to learn. They also have a field work where the university has farms. Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where they have farms and students actually go there for their practicals. Because myself, I was not in the faculty of agriculture, I was in the faculty of administration, and I took a course where I needed to go to the farm and have the farmers explain things to me. And we went to the farm. In fact, we were carried by a vehicle to the interior, to go into the deep into the farm, and brought back by vehicles. So the government, and I think that's just one, and I don't want to say that's the only university in the country that has that facility or that landmass to do farming. The government in its initiative, remember yourself, myself, and Doctor, including Olumide and Swift, we have discussed these two issues all over again. And I remember vividly we were, hammering on the fact that our universities are not supposed to be in the state where they currently are. They should have, metamorphosed from only teaching into very, very critical state facility when it comes to research and development, and how the government will be saddled with the some part of the responsibility to make the funds available for the purpose of research and development, or private organizations coming in to collaborate and liaise with these universities to devote funds for the purpose of research and development, and to bring out industrial advantages, industrial products from some of the research that the students have done halfway, or from other research that the university itself would have jumped into. Universities, when you look at it, the university I mentioned, Obafemi Awolowo University, produces, I ate bread, like they produced bread from the bakery in the university. If you come to Unilag here, they have Unilag table bottled water. These are sources of internally generated revenue to the institutions. And that's not only that. They built in, because of the manpower, technical manpower, and know-how, the acumen, both business and otherwise, that is within that facility of learning, they are able to establish these facilities and to go through all, to cross every I and dot, to cross every T and dot every I when it comes to productivity and quality service delivery, in making available, in producing or manufacturing or producing the bread and the table water, because they also have table water in the school I'm coming from. They can go, and they have big agricultural faculties, that of Obafemi Awolowo University. They can go into these palm oil produce. They can do that effectively, but if the fund is not available, that is where the government needs to come in.
Why?
Now, I know you are going to interrupt me. I know you are going to interrupt me.
Funding.
Why is the government making 75 billion naira available for MSMEs?
Okay.
Just a moment. Just a moment.
MSMEs,
just a
right?
moment. Yes.
Good. Now, for anyone that is interested in getting this done, the focus should not be the funding. The focus should be on planting. The focus should be on putting a seedling on the ground. The focus should be on adding value. Now, in that particular process, when you need to now, if you need to do bigger than what you currently can do, if you need to expand, if you need to scale up, that is when you should start thinking of funding. It's not the funding that should make you to plant. You should already know how to plant, want to plant, know where to plant.
In fact, you should have even planted.
So when you want to scale up,
yes,
when you want to, then you now think of funding. But when everybody's looking at funding, okay, give me funding and I'll do this, then we are making a big mistake. Let me give you another typical example. A lot of the mango we consume here in Lagos is coming from Bida.
And Bida is in Niger State.
And Bida is far away in Niger State. But I bet you that you don't have mango farms in Bida.
You don't have mango farms in Bida.
You don't have mango farms in Bida.
So where is Bida getting the mangoes from?
They have a culture over a long, even before a lot of us were born. They like mango. So as a people, each compound you go to, there are mango trees all around the compound. In front of the compound, behind the compound, inside the compound. Each school you go to, there are mango trees everywhere. They are farming rice here. There is a mango tree everywhere. Now you go to their roads, just the way you have beautiful roads, maybe stretching from here all the way to the mainland. What is lining the road from beginning to end on both sides of the road are mango trees. So you see a culture of a people. Maybe they didn't take it serious, but you just, after a while, you say, okay, how come this is here? So this is what we should be looking at.
But they were intentionally planted. So, Chooks, where I'm going to is this. 75 billion naira made available for MSMEs, and I could see that the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, is hammering on it. About 65 MSMEs in the city of Ondo State has taken advantage and is advising every other state governors to make I don't think you need to advise the state governors. This is money, and this is investment, and this is a way to empower their people.
It's not
of
free
course,
money.
they are going to pay back. They are going to come. They are very much aware of that.
And it's not a loan to the state.
Yes, of course. So what I'm trying to say, why the government should also use the tertiary institution as a way of enhancing some of the laudable project it has, an initiative in its mind that it wants to deliver. The kind of manpower, the kind of technical know-how, the kind of knowledge that you have domiciled in the tertiary institutions are not the ones that you can find just anywhere. Not even the MSMEs can even give you anything close to that. The reason why I'm saying that,
if you go this route, why are 99% of the tertiary institutions not funding themselves?
Funding. Wait, funding is key. Funding is key. Now, do remember that when it comes to funding, I already said some of these facilities are already available in these institutions. We are talking about 3 million hectares of land that we are deficit of in terms of providing and producing palm oil. Some of these universities have lands which they can plant some of these palm oil seedlings, and some of this palm oil.
So they should come out and start.
And they can do more. Now, I don't think, and I'm very certain that they have all what it takes to plant and to harvest and to sell so that they can meet up or cover up some of the shortfalls that the country is currently experiencing. And that is where the government intervention comes in. It will not be bad, and it will not be a bad thing if the federal government, through research, by going to interact with the universities, federal universities and state universities, few of them that have the capacity, a very, very functional and operational faculty of agriculture, one that is working and has the wherewithal and the potential for them to go into this venture and make something meaningful out of it. It will not be something bad at all, and it will not be a waste if the federal government can also make.
It's not the federal government
if both
that
the
will
federal
tell you to
government,
do this.
No, Chooks, just a moment. If the federal government can ask where they have lapsed or where they have experiencing some of the shortcomings for them not to be able to go into these ventures, so it can make the money available for them to kick off, and the the government will make funds available for it to kick off. Now, we are not saying the government is going to do this without having eyes. Just a moment. I'm not saying the government should jump into ventures like this.
Okay.
Without having eyes, ears, and legs on ground that will be monitoring the way the project is being executed by these tertiary institutions. Of course not. From the Ministry of Agriculture of the federal government, you have field officers that would have been saddled with the responsibility and attached to each of these federal or state universities that will be monitoring the state.
At this point, please hold on.
Okay.
So the worker that is employed and in Ministry of Agriculture, he has no other job to do than to go and start supervising somebody in OAU.
It doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be there all day.
Are they also supervising Danladi in his rice farm in Kuje? Are they also supervising Emeka in his cassava farm in Newi? No.
Does the government have a hand in Emeka's cassava farm in Newi?
The government has no hands there.
Fine, then why would the government supervise it?
So why should the government have a hand in looking at oil palm plantation in OAU?
Okay, see, Chooks, I don't think is it that you're not getting my point?
No.
Or you're just trying to
I'm trying not to get my point. If OAU or any other higher institution decide on their own that we have the land, beautiful, and we have the capacity to plant, beautiful, then go into it and plant.
Funding.
Good, hold on.
Funding is a challenge. They have most tertiary institutions.
75 billion.
It's for MSMEs. 75 billion naira is for the SMEs.
Hold on. The water bottle plant in Unilag, is it not?
That is one.
Hold on. Is it?
It belongs to the institution.
But is it a small or medium business?
It belongs to the institution. So it's not. Is it independent?
It qualifies as a medium scale business.
Now, for administrative and bureaucratic purposes, you cannot classify. You cannot classify a subsidiary of a tertiary institution that to be under MSMEs.
Okay.
Except completely.
They also has a way of looking for and getting funding. So
why are we trying to discountenance the involvement of the government in sponsoring research and development using through the tertiary institutions? Besides, these tertiary institutions belong to the federal government.
No, hold on. Is research and development not funded in?
It belongs to the federal government. Doesn't the institution belong to the federal government? So why can't the federal government use them as a launching pad?
What are the results that have come out from all the funding that has gone into the research?
Previous funding that has taken place, if the government is not involved, who is
this government?
The federal government.
Okay, let's keep going.
No, it's quite important. it's quite important, and I think we need to take a very, very good look at that.
Okay.
It's been a tough one with Chooks. Let's go on a break. We'll be back in a moment. We're taking a breather, okay? When we're back, we'll continue with the stories. Do stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Palm oil has long been a vital component of Nigeria's agricultural heritage, with roots tracing back to pre-colonial times. Originally serving local needs, its importance has grown exponentially, propelling Nigeria into a prominent global producer. Spread across regions like Edo, Delta, Cross River, and Ondo states, the country boasts extensive plantations and advanced processing capabilities. It takes about 4 years for oil palms to produce fruit suitable for harvest. Each tree will then continue to produce fruit for up to 30 years, at which point they will have grown to around 40 feet tall. According to reports, Nigeria's palm oil production increased to 1.4 million metric tons in 2023, witnessing steady growth since 2009, with a peak surge in 2010. Despite a surge in domestic consumption, reaching 1.8 million metric tons in the 2021-2022 crop year, Nigeria still imports 350,000 metric tons, primarily from China and Malaysia. Similarly, some of the challenges plaguing the sector include declined production, outdated equipment, and insufficient financing, resulting in a notable production deficit. To address these challenges, government intervention is imperative, necessitating increased funding, favorable policies, and enhanced environmental protection measures. Furthermore, Nigeria and other African countries must move away from the local way of producing palm oil to a more mechanized method for effective and efficient production. Additionally, fostering collaborations among farmers, processors, marketers or consumers, and equipment fabricators is vital for sustainable production and value chain development. Israel Adeyemi, SOUQ News.
Welcome to Femi Walsh Limited, owners of SOUQ TV Lagos, Our Radio Lagos, Kaswa Radio Kano, and of course Emirates TV Abuja and Dubai. Our niche market for media is business, economy, and development. At Femi Walsh, we promote your company's products and services using our world-class facilities. From Our Radio to SOUQ TV, what you get is nothing but the best of the very best. And if you're looking for the premium production firm for your events and corporate coverage, think no further, because we offer you the best of industry stuff. With high-definition cameras ranging from 4K to 8K multicam setups, high-directional microphones, and real-time streaming encoders, we give you a production like none other. And if you're looking to produce podcasts, adverts, and documentaries, our team of experts will ensure that you convey your message clearly and professionally. Femi Walsh, Global Vision, Local Impact. On the 19th of August 2025, Paris will come alive with the prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards taking place at the Gauche Hotel, Paris. The prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards is designed to celebrate governors who have contributed immensely to their states in different countries across the world. If you are a governor who's gone above and beyond to deliver transformative projects in your state and country, then this award is for you. To partake of the Governor's Excellence Awards this year taking place in Paris, all you have to do is send an email to soupnexus.com with the words, I accept, and we will get right back to you. You can also send a WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp number scrolling on your screen right now. You don't want to miss Paris for anything, and we are looking forward to celebrating you and your achievements this year. So contact SOUQ Nexus to make that happen.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting a Nigerian label, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. It's still SOUQ Business Landscape. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News TV. Myself and Chooks, John Rogers Chooks, we're still here in the studio. We'll move over to our second story. Education development. The federal government funds research, builds new innovation hubs. As the federal government, approved over 4.2 billion naira for 158 research projects under the 2024 TED Fund National Research Fund grant cycle. In addition, 15 billion naira has been allocated for the creation of innovation hubs and entrepreneurship centers in 15 tertiary institutions across Nigeria. The approved research project spans critical areas like housing, agriculture, artificial intelligence, and robotics, aimed at solving national challenges and advancing technology. Institutions such as FUTA, Mina, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and FUTA top the list of grant beneficiaries, further supporting Nigeria's innovation ecosystem. Contracts have been awarded for the development of 18 innovation hubs equipped with state-of-the-art laboratories across all geopolitical zones. These centers will promote real-world application of research through 3D printing, laser tech, robotics, and AI. Universities like Ibadan and Uyo will receive 1 billion naira each, while 12 polytechnics and colleges of education will get 750 million naira each. The initiative aligns with the Tinubu administration's renewed hope agenda to boost economic growth and self-reliance through research and innovation. Exactly. Mr. President and his able-bodied advisors must have been listening to the point I was trying to make earlier about its intervention that is required for Nigerian tertiary education, Nigerian tertiary institution, to use them as a launching pad to tackling the deficit that we're currently experiencing in oil palm produce. 3 million lands required, 14 or 1.4 metric tons that's only available locally, with excesses of that, appearing as the deficit, leading Nigeria to import from Indonesia and Malaysia. Well, we've moved away from that. Now we are domiciled in what I was talking about, using the tertiary institutions as a launching pad. And I'm glad Mr. President is doing this. However, if it does not work, we're going to hold you responsible. Chooks, don't you think this is laudable?
Which part of it? The funding part or the initiative or the innovations? Which one?
Everything.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, now before this particular program came upstream, we've had TED Fund that had been funding a lot of research and development in schools.
Outcomes.
Thank you very much. So this, when you say you need to hold the president responsible and accountable for this, let's start from holding universities, professors, and chairs accountable for the fund that has gone into that R&D for a long time. We should start seeing results, what has come out of it. Now, that is not issues that we need answers right now. Now, let's look at this particular 4.2 billion grant. Grant is free money. We have to see specific areas, specific research topics that we need for this country, that will provide solutions to the problems that we are facing, that will provide solutions to importation of some other product that we need to say, okay, good, now we have alternative. This is the areas where we should start looking at. Areas where we have comparative advantage. Okay, so at the end of the day, whatever result is coming out of this particular research, we can take to the industry and mass produce, or solutions for drugs, or solutions to agri, wherever sector is going to be. That is what we should be looking at. And it's not just a political statement, or trying to get the younger people to align them to a particular political ideology. No. Let's see a case where at the end of 3, 6, 1, 2 years, results are coming out. Now let's look at those particular innovation hubs.
Yes.
1 billion is going to some universities, then 750
universities, yes.
750,000, 750 million
naira.
That's a lot of money. It's going to about 12 or 13 polytechnics.
Yes.
Now,
colleges of education.
Like 2 colleges of education and polytechnics. We spoke about this on this table sometime last week, and we said the best places to use for those hubs are, are institutions.
Yes.
And I guess they are listening, and they've gone there. Now we just don't want to hear about contracts. That is the least we want to hear. Let it not be that this money is going to be used in getting contracts done to fix up those places. No, we want to see not just those particular institutions having these hubs, but we want to see people in those particular hubs working out their ideas, working out their innovations, going there for trial, errors, failing, starting again, and coming up with something out of this particular hubs that is costing us this much. We want to see at the end of the day prototypes that will leave these places and get to a bank and get to an industry. Let's start seeing results. It's very important. Let the younger people in school get engaged right now, because we can't be giving excuses.
Yes,
we've gone past that particular era of excuses.
Yeah. I think this is quite a laudable initiative, and for me, I can't wait to see it work. I can't wait to see it work, because some of these universities and the colleges of education and the polytechnics that were mentioned that are going to be beneficiaries of 750 million naira, just 250 million short of $1 billion, and the universities that will be going home with 1 billion naira.
They are not going home. They are going to establish a home.
I don't mean that.
Not going home.
I don't mean that literally. Guy, what we were supposed to do, a university or one of the tertiary institutions that is benefiting from this is in Bayelsa State. So now I'm not mentioning Bayelsa because I'm interested in it. I'm trying to use it as a point of reference to other tertiary institutions. The locations, the places where these universities or colleges of education are located have peculiar challenges. And those specific peculiar challenges that has economic value, that have monetary value, that have entrepreneurship value, that can be commercialized, should be the focus.
For those specific places?
For those specific places, because somewhere in Bayelsa, we will not be doing the same thing that as the College of Education in Katsina State will be embarking on. Because we are of different climes, and we are working towards the challenge that is specific to that environment. And for these tertiary institutions, because of the manpower that they have, they should be able to run this. And, because if they make it a success, I tend to see where the government will not only do it again, but also we want to make it as a way of policy to keep pumping money for this specific purpose. And that is very, very important, because the students in those tertiary institutions or schools, some of whom are going to be working and schooling at the same time, because they have both the manpower in terms of work, and they have the manpower to drive the initiative, and to also they have the manpower to sustain the initiative, and they equally have both the manpower and the influence to create frameworks around it that will enhance the growth and the sustainability of the initiative. Because AI is there, robotics is there. Most of the initiative that was pointed out there are tech-driven. And for this younger generation that are in the tertiary institutions for now, they are tech-driven. And do remember that the criticism that we have leveled against Nigerian tertiary education for times past, and even currently, a few days ago, I think we did it on the program, was that their curriculum for teaching needs to change. And it needs to reflect the current reality, economic reality, the social reality, the business and development reality, including the political reality that we currently have on ground. Because if it actually deviates from that, or if it wants to continue to maintain the status quo, we will not be meeting any need as it's concerning the business and economic environment. So if it is tech-driven, we already have the manpower to launch this money in, to make effective and efficient use of it, and to come out with results. But for me, what I'm going to do, even though it is a grant, the universities or the colleges of education doesn't have to pay back. What we need to do is a supervisory capacity, a supervisory and oversight function of both the House of Representatives and maybe because it's coming from the federal government, the Senate should sometimes go take a look at whatever project these institutions of learning must have, claimed to have started, and to see how productive, if it is bringing the necessary yield. Because if we do not carry out that oversight of supervision, the 750 million naira in terms of the colleges of education and the 1 billion naira for the tertiary education, the tertiary institutions for universities are just going to go down the drain. And it will be like money you just gave out. And that will not be good. It will not speak well of the administration. The initiative is laudable, is good, but the end product is what we must have in mind. If we do not have the end product and a specific outcome in mind, then we have completely defeated the whole purpose. We have seen situations where students go through in the universities, and during their graduation they will have to write theses, because most of the time the thesis that they write is within the same environment. They look at some of the challenges that they encounter, social challenges, other pure science-related kind of challenges that they experience in those environments. And after they are done doing that, there is no one, no institution, no research organization or support from both the private and government institutions to look at any of this initiative that has been birthed by people who spent half a decade in universities learning if it is viable. And as a result of that, we leave them, it becomes trash, and we take them out. We should not continue with that. One other thing is that the entrepreneurship skill that we have been, clamoring for, that universities need to start teaching skills and new courses that will not only educate students theory-wise, but also they need to practicalize. It's going to be should be driven by this initiative too, because students should be able to take advantage of this to enhance their entrepreneurial skills, should be able to bring out ideas of products that will be required or needed in the environment. The palm oil that we spoke about, it's industrial use. We're told that some of it is even used for making soaps. So if we can do things like that, and we have students who can develop the Dangotes and the Otedolas and the Tony Elumelos now, they are in the universities as we speak. So we should be looking at developing and training out products from the Nigerian universities or colleges of education of those standards, so that in the next 20 years to come, our unemployment rate does not continue to spike or to skyrocket, but will continue to deplete, because we are producing more entrepreneurs. If it's a scientist that we are producing, is business and economic driven, because it's going to be producing products or designing and producing products, specific products that will, serve the purposes of business and commercialized in the environment. We should be looking at that. We should look if we are going to churn out accountants that will have businesses that will be able to employ 1 or 2 people. If we are going to be producing economists, not just people who are graduates of economics on paper, but those who have the creative mind to sell something, to go source for products, and to look for environments where it is highly needed, commercialize it, and employ people, because the informal economy is what drives the major economy of the state, and we must put that at the back of our mind. So it's a good initiative, but supervision is highly needed for it to thrive.
Okay, welcome back home. Now, these beautiful hubs that this humongous amount of budget has been made available are not. It's not a throw. It's not a gift. It's
a giveaway.
It's not a giveaway.
It's a grant.
You
don't have to pay back.
Well, they're not paying back. It's not.
But don't mismanage.
Don't even think about that. When you were talking, I was thinking of something. You mentioned entrepreneurship, and I asked myself how many schools actually teach and practice entrepreneurship, or teach and let their students practice what they teach. These are issues and things that we need to ask ourselves. If you're teaching me, okay, good, you can really come up with an idea, turn it into a business at the end of the day, and this is what you should do, this is what you should do, and you don't allow me to practice it even while in school, then there's a problem. Because I've seen students and even academic staff within the school try this particular thing within the school, and the school shuts them down. I've seen that happen several times. So what exactly is the policy when it comes to entrepreneurship within the walls of the higher institutions? These are things we need to start asking ourselves. Now, the federal government is establishing these hubs. Now, this particular hub is not for economics. It's for somebody that has an idea that will go and create something. Now, the economics and every other person that studied those kind of can now call the person and say, good, what if we try this? This is how we can sell this. What if? So is a collaboration, not just between the person that has the idea, but between the person that has the idea and the person that can sell it. Between the person that has the idea and the person that can pitch it. So these are places where we can have to say, okay, good and fine. We need results. What solutions are they providing, just like you said, for the locality where they are from? You were talking about National Assembly. You're going too far. What happened to the local government? What happened to the state government?
To supervise it.
Yes, they should pick interest. If there's this amount of funding for a hub coming to a polytechnic, let's say Yabatek here, the local governor, the local government chairman,
yes,
the state should be interested to make sure that it's not just benefiting students within Yabatek. Those around that particular vicinity that also have ideas should be able to access that particular hub and use the amenities there, use the facilities there to develop what is in their head. And they also should also visit regularly and say, okay, good, this is the problem we're having. Okay, we have issues with rust on the island, and there's a school that has this center on the island. Can you come up with a kind of paint? Instead of what we are buying very expensive, can you come up with a kind of paint that will help us with the rust that is giving us issues here? So imagine if that kind of innovation gets out of that place. What is the solution that is going to provide? So these are what we should be talking about, not just dropping monies with big headlines and waiting for election to come.
Okay, I don't. What you shouldn't see it as a buyover for anything.
I'm not saying that it's a buyover. I'm just saying that we should really get results.
Get results.
Yes.
Okay, we should really get results. That's coming from Chooks, John Rogers Chooks, and I'm towing the same line as well. Move over to our next story. Investment. Telcos wants to boost investment by throwing up 824.7 billion naira. Now, the two major telecommunication companies have invested over 824.7 billion naira into network expansion in the first half of the 2025, raising hopes of better telecom services. The telecommunication company with the yellow color alone spent 565.7 billion naira, which represent a 288.4% 5% increase year on year, while the major telecommunication company with the red color invested about 259 billion naira, marking one of the biggest investment waves in Nigeria's telecom history. The spending is fueling new 4G sites, extended fiber coverage, and a $240 million data center project. Industry players say that the service improvements may be more visible by 2026 or 2027 as imported equipment delays upgrades. Now, despite the massive investment, users remain frustrated. From Yaba Tech students to Lagos entrepreneurs, complaints include vanishing data, dropped calls, and high tariffs. This comes even as MTN and Airtel reported 2.53 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2025, revenue mostly from data and voice calls. Critics say that the quality of service hasn't matched the price hikes approved in January by the Nigerian Communications Commission. The NCC says that poor network, fast data depletion, and airtime errors top complaints, prompting new service quality rules and calls for stronger regulations to ensure consumers get the value. It's about MTN and Airtel and how they seem to have pumped over 200 or get 200
824.7 billion
into. You remember very, very well when we were on this table and we're having this conversation that, look, if after the price increase of 50% for voice calls, for data purchase, and for other services, and for text messaging as well, and we do not have or get commensurate service delivery, it's not going to be right. It's not going to be nice, and the NCC should not continue with the carrot approach, but should also use the stick. Now, one of the excuses, Mr. Chooks, that was given for this network delay, or this network errors, or this poor service delivery is that the equipment that have been purchased are delayed from coming into the country. And that has actually hindered the upgrade of the equipment. That's one of the excuses. Do you go with that perspective?
Okay. Well, first, we have to know that this is not government.
Yes.
Good. So these are private businesses, all of them. Even Nigerians and some other establishments might have shares in them, but these are private businesses. So let's look at the numbers and the figures that are out there. 824.7 billion. Yeah. They say invested. Okay, now let's start asking some direct questions. When we say this amount is invested, you now think, okay, good, the economy is better, or they brought in more money to the economy. No, no. This particular money was made here. It did not come from outside. Not. So they spent this on their facilities, a private business, also not. Now, let's now ask ourselves, how have we benefited? 90% of the equipment that were bought, 99% of the equipment that were bought were not bought here.
In Nigeria.
They were bought outside. So Nigerian companies did not benefit from that.
Okay.
Good. So now, power, they generate a lot of their power themselves. So they are spending a whole lot on power, which is also transferred to every one of us. So when people push this kind of numbers and say invested, no, let's always use the better words and better headlines. It was not invested. It just went to upgrade their equipment. Now, have we seen the resulting effect of a better service after the 50% increase? The answer is no. So it depends on you. For over a while now, it took us a while to even get stable internet connection in this particular building, both for you to see us and transmission. Can they do better? Yes. So whose regulation or whose work is it for them to do better? NCC. So push. Not just the National Assembly. No, NCC is your responsibility. Let's look at the other profit they made in the first quarter, 2.53. Nigeria business environment for telecoms is positive. It has never gone down. Never. Do we have the numbers? We have the people that utilize these services. So they are making profit. Definitely. If they are not, they will pack and leave. But let's offer commensurate service to the profit that you are making.
Thank you very much, Chooks. Let's go on a break. We'll continue this conversation when we're back from this break. Do stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, SOUQ Enlightenment.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. And we're still looking at telecommunications and how the giants in that industry, the two giants, as far as Nigeria is concerned, are saying the amount of money they've pumped in, some of the money they've made, and how the increase of the money they've made since the increase of the price hikes by 50%. And after then, how services or service delivery has now become worse, or service delivery not commensurate to the expectation of Nigerians. Some time ago, we read in the news here on the station that they've spent about billions of money, telecommunication giants in the country, companies, they spent billions of money to go and import facilities, equipment, and they are bringing them into the country. And Nigerians have been waiting because they want to really experience or see the impact of the increase or the hike in the price of data, of calls, and of text messages. Now they pay lots. Dropped calls
service delivery quite very poor, not commensurate to our expectation, is quite sad. And yeah, the excuse is that, hey, equipment are on the way. They're being delayed. So be patient. I know Nigerians don't have patience. No, Nigerians have patience, but in this matter, because you are paying money, you know, you want to, and the patience of waiting, chooks, is dissipating. Well, so, going with what you said, it's quite technical. The monies that were made in this country, and they're using it to buy this equipment or to upgrade this equipment. But this equipment are not made in Nigeria. The capital flight, chooks, is huge. This is just 824 billion. That's coming from these two giants.
So spent on upgrading.
On upgrading.
This year alone.
This year. And we are not started talking about the totality or the entirety of telecom companies in the country.
Okay.
How can we look at it differently apart from just holding the two telecom giants to their responsibility of meeting the demands of the quality of service they deliver to Nigerians, but to look at the enormity of capital flight out of our country because we have not been producing. Okay.
The telecom industry blew up in early 2000, 2002, 2003. We had proliferation of services, both those that came in for voice, data, VOP, and all that. So we should now ask ourselves as a people, and our policy as a people, from then till now is over 20 years. What are the deliberate policies that the government has put on ground to have some of this equipment produced here? This is where we are lacking. 20 good years. Yet for every single equipment, down to cables, down to data cables, used by these facilities, these companies, are imported. It should tell you that something is wrong somewhere. We didn't just wake up. This industry didn't wake up on us. We planned for it. We prepared for it. And we welcomed it. We had Nitel before it. So how come till now we don't have service companies making, even if it's the smallest of equipment this industry is using and importing? Then for those major players that happen to be the big boys, we see their names everywhere, we're not going to call them, majorly in China, you know yourself. How come they still hold sway? How come they don't have a production plant in this country if we can't even produce ours? Now, if you remember the advent of 5G, there was a fight between China and the US, majorly because a particular company was trying to supply Canada, and US said it's not going to happen. They know very well that if it happens, then they also take root in their own country. And US said, no, it has to be a US company. Now we have not advanced that much to have a Nigerian company play that particular role. How? There is Globacom. Hey. But right now, let's start looking at policies that will encourage investors, be it local, be it international, to come and also start establishing this particular production plant for this kind of equipment to be produced here. You have a General Electric. I'm going to call them because majorly they don't deal with us that much. We have a General Electric, but we buy a lot of their products. Now, if you look at General Electric, they've been there for over 50, 100 years. Look at what they've been producing through time. They literally catered for the power sector in that side of the divide. So now, where is our own kind of General Electric? Where is our own kind of Siemens? Where is ours? So these are things we should start looking at. When you look at the quality of service, as of January, 50%, everybody paid 50% more. We might not even be able to really ascertain how much data or how much we pay for data because you don't even know the speed at which you consume it anymore, unlike before. So it's possible it's even more than 50%, I'm just saying, in quote. allegedly. Now, for that 50% that we started paying since January, the service itself, is it commensurate? Both of us know no. So how can we sit together and say, let's come to a compromise? Okay, good and fine. Earlier on, when this particular industry was still growing and blooming, if you mistakenly, if they surcharge you, they will return back with extra. Let's start having, let's call those particular times back. Then also look at issues of expatriates. We have a lot of expatriates in this sector. What is happening with Africans in this sector? What's happening with Nigerians in this sector? How trained are we? Not just being the power, not just being the manual power, but
in this sector.
Yes, in this, we need to go beyond the manual power, driving the cars, going to sell sites and doing the real menial jobs. It doesn't matter how data-driven those menial jobs are. The real people in those particular connections, the real people that connect all the transatlantic cables, whatever, we need to see Nigerians and Africans play there. And for the Nigerian companies, we'll say thank you very much, but we still need you to do more. Okay,
for the broadcast engineers or the telecom engineers that go to lay masts, make connections, and I know a few who are Nigerians. And I think we also, as a country, have a few in that sector who are playing very, very strong, who are actually trained during the inception of telecommunications into the country back in 1999, 2003, from 2007 and upwards. So I wouldn't say we're doing badly in that. However, the gap between the Nigerian professionals and the ones
we want to see Nigerians play not just in the back end. The people monitoring the back end of the back end.
Of the back end. Yes, I think you've used
that's
that
where we want to see us play.
So, Chooks, let's take another look at the cable. You were talking about cable. Nigeria had a very, very viable and strong competitive product when it comes to cable manufacturing. I was told it's one of the best in the world. Yeah. What happened to it?
Well, I won't say Nigeria happened, it's just mismanagement. A lot of those companies are still there, but not as good as they used to be before.
Locally made.
Yes, we have one of the best when it comes to cables. If somebody's building a house, they would specifically tell you, don't buy
foreign-made cables.
Yeah, without putting names, go buy Niger cables. But when we come to telecom cables, they are not made here. All of them.
Because these are specifically made for the gadgets, the technology that drives the gadgets.
So we need to start asking ourselves these questions and ask, why can't we make them here?
Great. In that case, we'll move on to our next story. And it's not quite similar from the one we just finished talking about. It still boils that now we're going offshore. It's about international relations and how Nigeria and the United States are deepening trade and investment ties and partnership. Now, the Nigerian federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening trade and investment relations with the United States, aligning with President Donald Trump's President Tinubu's Hope agenda for the economic growth. During a high-level meeting in Abuja, the Minister of Finance, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Lydia Shehu Jafia, expressed Nigeria's readiness to unlock new investment frontiers and create an environment favorable for foreign direct investment. The talks highlighted shared goals in innovation, fiscal reforms, and inclusive development. U.S. Consul General Rick Swart praised Nigeria's reform efforts and pledged continued American support for the country's economic transformation. Indeed, he called for transparent, business-friendly policies to ensure long-term U.S. investment succeeds in Nigeria. Both nations reaffirmed their long-standing partnership and agreed to explore fresh opportunities in trade, investment and capacity building, aiming for sustained economic progress and improved livelihoods for Nigerians. Chooks, Canada has been slammed
35%.
They are still negotiating.
They're still negotiating. 2 days ago, Mr. Witkoff was sent by United States President to go interact and interface with Moscow. And Donald Trump was quite benevolent when he was dishing out the percentage of trade tariffs to the globe and the nation. I just like it when a leader is strategic, business-wise, and America needed economic revitalization. They brought in a president that, is a colossus in that aspect, and he came in, he's doing his job, and everybody is feeling the pain, but to the US's gain.
Are you sure it's to their gain?
I know you were going to say that, but they are feeling it. South Africa is feeling it because it gave them 25–30%. Nigeria also got their own chunk. And why are we not strategic? Chooks, there's been punitive measures and countless sanctions against Russia, against Moscow, economic-wise, trade-wise, by virtue of the Russia-Ukraine war. President Donald Trump has been singing a song, if I were there, the war wouldn't have started. When I get into office, I'm going to stop the war. He came in, but it has not actually gone the direction that he had anticipated. And recently, he's been threatening he's going to dish out other sanctions and against them. But you know what he told the trade tariffs also? India got a chunk of it. But what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing is quite different. Trump did not only give tariffs to every other country, he also gave more tariff to countries that are patronizing the Russian oil, that are purchasing oil from Russia. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi called his bluff, continued to get trucks and loads and shipment of Russian oil into India because the energy consumption of India has actually gone up, and it's about, if we talk about oil or petrol, it's about 5.1 million barrels of consumption in India. So the consumption has gone up. So he's purchasing. Maybe I should add that they are getting subsidies from Russia, but he kept purchasing. But you know what he said to Indians, the population? He had the nationwide broadcast. And he specifically he told them to make sure that they purchase and consume Indian-made products. They should not continue to purchase and consume foreign-made goods for now, and that things are going to get better, and it gave out some form of support to local and domestic companies. Chooks.
Yet, when we look at international and geopolitics, we just see interest. People are pushing interest. Nations are pushing interest. Donald Trump came and he, just like you said, he's handing out freebies in the names of tariff. If the numbers and the digits are high, you come and you negotiate. Then you now get to 10%. If it's too good, 15%. Like we are slammed. Now, there are several indices that are there. People will get to question, at the end of the day, is it really favoring them?
In the United States.
These are what statistics will get to tell us with time. The numbers that came out yesterday or 2 days ago is not looking that too good. By Friday, we'll get to see the farmers' workbook and all that. We'll get to know, okay, how good, how well. The investment they say is coming in, has it really added more jobs? So we'll get to see that on Friday. But for us as a nation, the new envoy came in and he's talking. Definitely, you just know that he's here to talk for U.S. businesses. Nothing, no more, no less. He's not here because of Nigeria. Nah, he's here to represent his country and talk about his country's interest in Nigeria. So now our own people, are they talking about advancing our own interest with them? These are things we should be looking at, and not just having, in quote, somebody from a big country and you are cowering and answering yes sir, yes ma, because you think that he has the goodies and you are only taking. So this is where being able to know yourself and advance your interests matters. That's what we should start to see in African leaders play. That's the role I want to see African leaders play, and not be second-class citizens in your own country because someone else you think that is stronger or bigger than you is around.
Yes, thank you very much. And I think we, as a country, need strategy to that effect to be able to negotiate with our counterparts. If you are very, very benevolent in giving tariffs, then we should actually reciprocate those kind of benevolence by also giving tariffs. Well, this is where we'll draw the curtain on SOUQ business landscape this Wednesday morning. Many thanks for watching. Please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News TV. I am Oyim Priye Krumale. Do have yourself a splendid day ahead.
Yes, thank you everyone out there. Remember, there is oil palm to be planted. So tell your friends, if you live in Ikorodu, you can plant in Ikorodu, there is land. If you live in VI, forget it, you're not part of that project. So hey, tell everybody out there, let's all get involved. You mustn't have an acre of land to be part of it. There are several other projects you can also invest in when it comes to oil palm and cocoa. This concerns us right now. We need to get productive, so let's do it. Call up people you know and tell them about this. Let them get involved. And for everyone out there, remember, it's still raining in Lagos. Won't stop this public service announcement. So please, keep safe. Stay safe. If you must not go out, stay indoors. If you're living in a flood-prone area, watch it. Try and decongest the waterways and keep the children well covered. My name is SOUQ. John Rogers SOUQ. We'll do this again tomorrow. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.